Look at that. You conjured up some men.
Not doing what I wanted to do. Here we go. Okay. What?
Morning, Linda.
Good morning. Hey, Dina.
Hey, Linda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Why does your hair always look so good?
I have no idea because I got out of bed like 30 minutes ago, so I have no idea.
I know, it's just the perfect haircut. That's what I want to do, and this is what I end up with.
Hi, Jesus.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Leanne.
Here.
Good morning.
Yvonne, we haven't seen you in forever. Welcome.
Hi.
Come visit me. I'll take it in my girl.
We can all rent a private plane and come out.
That would be great. I'm all frozen here.
With your God call.
There's the story in Greek mythology of the phoenix, the bird that bursts into flames and then resurrects itself from the ashes. That seems pretty cool until you realize that in order for that resurrection to happen, it has to burst into flames. And that just doesn't sound very pleasant at all. Well, keep that in mind the next time you're dealing with something challenging in your life, because maybe instead of just being annoying or troublesome, it's an invitation to be reborn into something even more wonderful.
Trying to hold it all together. Don't know how, but you know you must. Your heart is bigger than the ocean, though you feel like a speck of dust. But there's a light in your eyes. That is where your spirit shines. 'Cause you're a diamond in the rough. You are cut from a rock of love. Relax, let go and trust. Let your soul shine, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. There are some things you're given that you're never meant to hide. Like the love that's flowing through you, you can't stop it if you try. It's who you are, a blazing fire, bright as any shooting star. You're a diamond in the rough. You are cut from a rock of love. Relax, let go and trust. Let your soul shine, shine, shine. Shine, shine, shine. Hold that diamond in your hands and do the best you can to polish it with faith. Surrender to the grace there inside. 'Cause you're a diamond in the rough. You are cut from a rock of love. Relax, let go and trust. Let your soul shine, shine, shine. Shine, 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 shine. Go on and shine, shine, shine. We've got to shine, shine, shine.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Deb. And good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. Welcome to October. It's so wonderful to have you here. The usual Zoom etiquette. Please leave your microphone muted except when you're speaking, and make sure to unmute your microphone when you are speaking. That will make everything flow along nice and smoothly. Because when people are talking at the same time on Zoom, it's a cacophony. Speaking of which, go ahead and unmute your microphone now and repeat after me, if you will. I open myself to love.
I
I open myself to
Self to
love.
love.
I open myself to joy.
I
I
open
open
myself to
myself
joy.
to joy.
I let myself shine.
I
I
Let myself shine.
Shine.
And I know love is right here, right now.
I know
Love is
love
right
Here,
here,
now.
right now.
right now.
And so it is.
So it is.
Thank you
So
for
it
the
is.
company. You can click the mute button again one more time. New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever path you've been on, wherever you're heading next, whatever brought you through our Zoom door today, we have been expecting you, and welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything. And that same power, love, including us. And we are using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our lives according to our beliefs. There's a little detail that goes on top of that, but that's the core premise. And to shorten down even a little more, as we like to say around here, our new life begins with a new thought. If you have any extraneous electronic devices that might distract you in the next hour or so, please turn them off on shush so that we can focus in, not just in the group, but into ourselves and to allow the spirit to flow forth. I'm Reverend Bill Marcioni. Our guest speaker today is the singing healer, Reverend Retta Morgan, who will be meeting in just a moment. I will be your MC, and Breen Rourke, RSCP, is our POD practitioner of the day, who will open us with a practical prayer.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone, on this beautiful sunny Sunday morning. Let's just take a moment and just be here in this moment of now, which is all we have. It's all we need. It's all there is now. And everything is in this moment now. All the potential, all the wonder, all the power of the universe is in this moment now. Because everything is that one power, that one presence, that one activity of spirit, which is God expressing in every moment of now. So I know that I am an expression of that one. So too is everyone here, everyone listening, everyone everywhere, everyone is an expression of that infinite spirit. So I know we are drawn here to this celebration to deepen into our understanding, to celebrate that connection, to inspire and uplift, and to grow in our understanding of that connection. So I'm grateful for this time together, grateful for everyone here, everyone listening, grateful for everyone everywhere, because it's all God expressing now. So with gratitude for that oneness, I speak this word into the law, the creative law of spirit that always says yes and continues to say yes every now moment. Yes, yes, yes. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. So when we do a practical prayer, we don't do it to gain favor with God, because that's actually not possible. And we don't do it to impress the people around us. We actually do a practical prayer to change the experience that we're having in life. So we like to hear about the results that are coming about. If anybody, whoever has a prayer work story that you'd like to share, please put up your hand and take a moment with it. Go ahead, Breen.
So I spoke about this last week, and it's an evolving prayer story. And in the coming weeks, I'm sure I'll have more as it expands even further. And I mentioned at work, there was a possibility, there was discussions about converting from being a contractor to a full-time employee. And that is in the works. The senior director of our team is going to submit my name into the list of conversions. So that's moving along. So there you go.
Nice. Congratulations. Yeah, I had one as well. Anybody else have a prayer work story that you want to share? Okay. I mean, I had set the intention to do more professional practitioner work and had the opportunity to do more professional practitioner work this week. And it's about setting the invitation and the intention, and the universe goes ahead and says yes. Thank you. Yeah, so we've got some announcements now, which are going to be brought to us by announcements by Kathy Shevsky.
This crisp information can be found on our website at newthoughtphilly.org. We do a community check-in and meditation twice a day. They're fun, inspiring, and transformational, and they're less than 15 minutes long. Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., Saturday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 6 p.m. Open to everyone, and we use the same Zoom meeting as the Sunday celebration. Please join our Philly Spiritual Adventurers group on meetup.com. As a civic reminder, Election Day is coming and there is still time to register or sign up to vote by mail. You can also verify your voting status. Visit votespa.com. Reverend Bill posted a practical prayer that our country has strong and compassionate leadership that brings us together in health, prosperity, and freedom. It's on the website and on YouTube. We gratefully accept donations and payments via credit card or PayPal. Use the donate button on the website or mail a check to the office in Ardmore. Thank you to the production team and presenters who make our Zoom celebrations work. There's a short technical rehearsal on Saturday afternoon and a final check-in before the celebration on Sunday. If you'd like to be on the team, contact Sarah. Reverend Bill and the practitioners do practical prayer sessions by appointment. After the celebration, Breen will be available for a miracle in a minute prayer at no charge. We'll leave the Zoom meeting open for people to talk among ourselves after the meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. So we, when we get together in person, we have a gift that we give people who show up for the second time, and we have a blessing for the people who show up for the first time. I think there are some first-timers here. And if you'd like to identify yourself, you can go ahead and wave, so we'll know to direct this specifically to you. But we get to do the blessing for each of us and all of us together. So let's all rub our hands together, generate some warmth. We haven't turned the heat on in the house yet, so this feels good. Take that warmth and share it with the rest of the group. Look into the eyes of the other people here. And join me in knowing that you are the bright lights of God's love. Thank you so much for shining your light and sharing your love with us today. And welcome home. So as we do the next song, this would normally be the one where we're hugging, but that's a scary thing now. And it's also a little awkward, seeing as how the only thing to hug is going to be a screen. So just take the opportunity to look into the eyes of the other people who are on the Zoom call. Maybe you can pin their video and just feel that connection amongst us as Deb does this song.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in, get ready, my soul. I'm diving into the deepest kind of love, the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, ready, my soul. 'Cause here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul. Thank you. Get ready.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Deb. We have a little wonderful little ritual, the Flames of Faith, which Jane is going to lead for us today.
Okay. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call Spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. Our reading today is brought to us by Carla Ann.
Hi, everyone. The secret power and effects of love. This is the spirit of infinite love. The moment we recognize ourselves as one with it, we become filled with love, that we see only the good in all. And when we realize that we are all one with this infinite spirit, then we realize that in a sense, we are all one with each other. When we come into recognition of this fact, we can then do no harm to anyone, to anything. We find that we are all members of one great body, and that no portion of the body can be harmed without all other portions suffering thereby. When we fully realize the great fact of the oneness of all of life, that all are partakers from this one infinite source, and so that the same life is the life in each individual, then prejudices and hatreds cease. Love grows and reigns supreme. Then, wherever we go, whenever we come in contact with the fellow man, we are able to recognize the God within. We thus look only for the good and we find it. It always pays. There's a deep scientific fact underlying the great truth. He that takes the sword shall perish by the sword. The moment we come into a realization of the subtle powers of the thought forces, we can quickly see that the moment we entertain any thoughts of hatred towards another, they get the effects of these diabolical forces that go out from us and have the same thoughts of hatred aroused in them, which in turn return to the sender. Then we understand the effects of the passion, hatred, or anger. Even upon the physical body, we can see how detrimental, how expensive this is. The same is true in regard to all kindred thoughts or passions, envy, criticism, jealousy, scorn. In the ultimate, we shall find that as entertaining feelings of this nature towards another, we always suffer far more than the one towards whom we entertain them. And then we fully realize the fact that selfishness is at the root of all error, sin, and crime, and that ignorance is the basis of all selfishness. With what charity we come to look upon the acts of all. It is the ignorant man who seeks his own ends at the expense of the greater whole. It is the ignorant man, therefore, who is the selfish man. The truly wise man is never selfish. He is a seer and recognizes the fact that he, a single member of the one great body, is benefited in just the degree that the entire body is benefited. And so he seeks nothing for himself that he would not equally seek for all mankind. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you. Deb?
You have a beautiful voice. I love hearing you speak. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I was holding back, scared to give it all. I thought if I had nothing left, I would surely fall. I was saving it up, refusing to give. Now I know that I was refusing to live, but I have seen the light, and now I'm gonna make it right. No more holding back just to survive. I'm gonna find a way to give my best every day and receive the gifts of this life. Yeah, I'm gonna thrive. I'm gonna thrive. There's no such thing as scarcity or lack, 'cause everything we give is always coming back. And every time we refuse to believe, we are simply refusing to receive. But when we see the light, then we can make let your guard down. Reach your hand out. Let your love flow. It's time that you know. When you see the light, then you can make it right and stop holding back just to survive. If you can find a way to give your best every day, you receive the gifts of this life, and you're gonna thrive. You're gonna thrive. We're gonna thrive. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Deb. Wonderful. So we have a special guest speaker with us today. Retta Morgan is the singing healer, and I have been participating with Retta in the evolution of her ministry. I think we first met at Common Ground, and then choir started referring to as Retta, and you said, I don't, or Reverend Retta, and you said, I don't think so. And then Spirit had other ideas, same kind of thing that happened to me. She is now the founder of Ecclesia Voicing, which is a first of its kind community that brings together the inner voice process, that's the spiritual approach to vocal training, along with a host of circles, workshops, and gatherings focused on all sorts of healing themes. And Retta is doing a series of gatherings and processes between now and the election because, as many of us have noticed, there's an opportunity for healing. So please join me and welcome Reverend Retta Morgan.
Oh, thank you, Reverend Bill, and good morning, New Thought Philadelphia. It's been a while, and the last time I was with you, it wasn't in this format. We're in the magical land of a Zoom room. So thank you for welcoming me into your room and your heart for this morning to share a few thoughts on this extraordinary time we're in. Isn't it absolutely extraordinary? So I want to first, I want to also acknowledge how beautiful the day is where I am. I live out near Doylestown on actually a Quaker bit of a campus. There's a lot of beautiful land. Like I'm looking out in this amazing land, and I give thanks for that land every day. I ground on the land as part of my own spiritual practice and cultivation of a resourcefulness that will help me stay centered in the midst of this extraordinary time that we're in. So speaking of extraordinary, an extraordinary thing happened this morning. I had a particular idea all set for this morning, and I woke up with the accident that I put in the chat. I was on earlier trying to figure out how to get these ideas that I woke up with to you in a particular form. I think we're going to talk about it in a moment. I've already said that, so I expect everybody's looking at it. Don't look at it, don't look at it. Because actually what you're looking at is one of the pre-edited forms. So we're going to read the last version. So what happens when you put old people loose in technology, this is what happens. So I want to share with you just a little bit about the ideas that that came to me to share for this morning. And as Spirit would have it, I feel like those ideas sort of dovetail into the word, if you will, that I got this morning. So what I talked about was as a spiritual practice, spiritual formula, if you will, to wrap our hearts around the hurting world, this hurting world, to anchor ourselves in the deep truth that we know, and then to act from that, both the heart connection and the anchoring, to act in the world in such a way. So I believe that that can be very helpful, and I think that's very much what you are learning and cultivating here at New New Thought Philadelphia, as well as other very important spiritual practices. So the wrapping of your heart around the world, I'm going to give you one example of that. And that is to feel, suggesting that you feel deeply what comes up for you when you're looking at the news or the political situation as it unfolds, the uprisings, information about climate crisis. There are many, many things, right? So I'm suggesting that we all limit what we take in, right? And but that we do keep in touch with the world. And when we are viewing something or hearing about something, whether it's TV or a personal story of people around us who are struggling, that the wrapping of your heart, one way to do that is to feel deeply, to allow yourself to cry, to allow yourself to feel sad. If you're in a position where you can write about it, you can use art to express about it. I wish there was space for us to be able to yell, moan, cry. I wish there was more space for that, to have those very hard emotions move through our bodies. You have to, yell and cry somewhere where they won't lock you up. Like, you have to figure out how to have space where you can do that, because our society kind of nods sideways sometimes if we're expressing. But what I want to remind you is sometimes we don't go there for fear of wondering whether we can bring ourselves out of it, because there's so many hard things happening. So here's what I want to suggest. I want to suggest you put a timer on, right? And go in there and go for the goal, like really express, let yourself feel. And when that timer goes off, you put a bookmark there. And what you do is you go ground yourself back into a place where you remember your joy, where you go touch a tree, where you read a beautiful poem, you sing a song. So you see what I'm saying? You create a space that has a beginning, middle, and end to feel deeply, so you do not get overtaken, overwhelmed by the bigness of it all. If we don't allow our bodies to have the experience of moving that stuff through, sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we don't know how to be in relationship to it. And for some of us, it piles up and comes out in ways we might not want, right? So be in relationship to the pain of now. Let your heart break for the world, right? Feel it. Breathe through it. And what I believe is the universe is building new muscles in that place. We're expanding our ability for compassion, for forgiveness, and in the breaking open of our heart is actually being remade, right? This is what I believe. So don't avoid that, if you will. And I'm going to move on to anchoring. So, and this is a thing I think New Thought is gifting to the world community of religion and spirituality. Is remembering who we are, these universal truths, remembering in language that is straightforward, that you can put you wrap your hands and hearts around it right away, right? So anchor, which you are already doing, anchor yourselves in the universal truth. Remember when you wake up, before you turn on the news, that you are made of stardust. Remember, breathe it in. Remember that the same beingness that created the universe and the magnitude of diversity and bounty is the same power that breathed breath into you. So when you look at the news, God is looking at the news. Anchor that in your being. And then as you anchor that, then you want to act right on the curve of that remembering. You want to act on behalf of building the world we want to see, right on the energy of both the heart work that you're doing and the anchoring. You want to act. And if the actions you take on behalf of building the world aren't slightly uncomfortable, then you're not acting big enough. If you're acting within your comfort zone, it's not big enough. Because just like the crying and the heartbreak is stretching us open and bringing us into a new place of capacity for compassion, the acting on the edge of our discomfort is growing our muscles around being the space that God can move through us and with us, and we can be the hands and the voice of God in this building a just and sustainable world, right? But we have to act on the edge of our comfort. our comfort level is kind of what got us in to what we're in now, okay? The comfort level. We got to be uncomfortable in service to a just and sustainable world. Okay, let's all breathe that in. All right, so that is the business of wrapping our hearts around the hurting world, of anchoring in the eternal truths that we know, of acting right on the cusp of that work we've done, and acting toward the edge of our comfort in order to keep growing ourselves into these spiritual activists that are changing the world. So then we take those exercises, and I want to turn them in the direction of liberation. This is what I woke up with this morning. I thought the talk was about those three things, but those three things were the preamble, that were the starting point, right? We're going to turn in the direction of liberation. And I believe I was handed that because liberation is a word, is a concept, is a North Star for both enlightenment, the spiritual work of our beingness, and activism, the practical in this world realm of doingness. We also speak of liberation when we talk about activism and moving the world forward. When we talk about climate justice, when we talk about racism, all the isms and obias, the movement of the way old oppressive systems have coagulated and have become a kind of a way of being that we're all sort of entranced in this movement and feel like we can't get out of, right? So in this moment, we get to interrupt the systems and the practices and the habits. We get to interrupt them with this North Star of liberation, this apex, this coming together of the being and doing, of the spiritual enlightenment with the work of making and building and creating a just and sustainable world. So I want to turn now to read the thing that came through for me this morning. I want to read the online version because, as I say, there's a slight differences than the one I accidentally put in the chat. Let's see if I can read it from here. So I woke up with, what is the sound of liberation? What is the smell and taste of liberation? What does it feel like in your body? What can you envision about it? What can you access about liberation for yourself, for your community, and for the world? I invite you to draw a picture, do a vision board, write a song, create a dance, create a sculpture, poem, parable, fable, short story, or novel, or any other creative endeavor particularly, and then intuit a prayer, a meditation, a chant. This, I believe, is the blueprint for your spiritual map to liberation. And so then I have this query, what if half the world or more had a vivid picture of their own next steps for personal liberation and the next steps for their contribution to communal liberation? How about living liberation while the revolution is happening around us, right? And then I mentioned that for me, my spiritual map is love, the looking forward, looking toward, to challenging the ways we may frame that now, to keep healing the ways that I was limited by my interpretation of what happened to me, and growing those limitations into spaces for me to expand and to grow exponentially. So thank you very much for that. So this is what I wrote, and this is sort of, for me, the direction we point in as we cultivate with the three habits that I suggest, that they support moving into this framework of liberation. And liberation takes us into the conversation around, particularly around race. So I'm gonna spend just a few minutes with some conflicts that I hope, concepts that I hope you can reflect on, you can take into your own mind and spirit and see how they land, see what emerges for you from these concepts. So I want to take the idea of the oppressed and the oppressor. I'm going to have a few thoughts about racism through these concepts of being oppressed and being oppressor. And in both cases, to lift up those identities and insert a liberation theology, a liberation, embodied dynamic liberation principles that are alive because you have envisioned them, you're embodying them, you are imagining the taste and smell, you are using your incredible spiritual imagination to vividly picture a world, and in your growing, in your deepening and expansion, imagining with ever more detail and boldness what a world that without the oppression, without racism, what that world might look, feel, and act like, right? You in this process of embodying and continuing to expand what that looks and feels like. Right. So I'm going to start with the position of being oppressed, right? Oppressed. I am the victim, right? It's an identity that has coagulated around the systems that have beat down so hard on we can look and see who are the people with the highest incarceration rates, people who are dying at the hands of cops, people who are have been crying about injustice, have been fighting for and struggling towards justice since the country started, right? Who is the victim? And so the victim as an identity, you know, if you're looking for proof of it, there's plenty of it. If you're looking for confirmation of it, there's plenty of it. And so what I'm suggesting as we do our spiritual work, we do these exercises that I'm suggesting, exercises that you practice in New Thought Philly, we get to start to peel away the cracks. We get to interrupt the way that identity feels so completely just entrenched in who we are. We get to question it, we get to pull it away. And so through the work of liberation, we get to completely take the identity off. We get to say, the systems may look this way, but I disagree. The systems may say that this is who you are. This is the percentage, or this is the chances that you will be incarcerated. This is the percentage or the chances that you will not finish your college degree. And here's the reason why. The systems may say that, but because we do our deep spiritual work and remember who we are, we get to say, no, I'm not going to be a victim. We actually get to choose whether we want to have that identity or not. Now, what happens is once we make that choice, we start to ruffle a lot of feathers. We ruffle feathers in the system and the people around us. The people around us who aren't ready to take that identity off will be like, wait a minute, what you mean you're not a victim? Look at what happened. Look what happened to me. Look at what's happening to, are you crazy? Did you watch the video? What do you mean I'm not a victim, right? So you're going to ruffle a lot of feathers. That's why we need community. We need to steep ourselves. That's why we got to get up every day in this truth of the power of us being born of stardust and being formed by the eternal, which has no limitation. What if I remember that? Whose victim could I possibly be, right? So we have to keep plugging into the well of that remembering. So when we ruffle feathers, instead of going back to where it was, oh yeah, maybe you're right, we'll be able to answer with, well, here is why I'm not a victim. And here is why I'm not a victim. And you begin to influence the people in your circles. Those who feathers that you ruffle, they may still ruffle, but you will also plant seeds. You begin to change vibrationally that what the energy, the energetic we call victim, you get to change and shift that by who you are being, right? Now I'm going to go on over here to this corner of the oppressor. We don't go there very often. Often when we have this conversation, we talk a lot about the victim, but I want to talk to you about the position of oppressor, those who hold the resources, those who are the ones we want to say who are doing the oppressing, right? I think it's a really interesting place to investigate. And I think it's very, very difficult to do, because if you start to lift that identity, somebody has got to look at what had to happen in order for people to secure those resources. Do y'all hear what I just said? You had to look at what has been done to people, to lands, the kinds of tragedies. You have to look at that in the face. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to look at that, right? Two is so painful and difficult, right? But if we want to insert this liberation, if we want to see ourselves on the other side of the shit show we got going on right now, we're going to have to lift that identity up. We're going to lift that box up. We're going to lift that. We're going to have to be able to stare directly at the tragedies, the atrocities that have happened, and wrap our hearts around ourselves. Those ones that call themselves oppressors. We're going to wrap your heart continually around yourself and your lineage while you take a look at what has happened, what is how you got to have those resources. Got to keep, and you got to go down in the roots of the beginning of this country where Black people were not considered whole human beings. You see, some of what we are seeing is the consciousness of people who have forgotten that they believed that there was a place in the roots of this country that says that people that look like me are not fully human. Therefore, you can shoot me on a screen because I'm not fully human. And then you can justify and defend why that can happen, right? That's in the roots. So you got to lift up that identity. This is hard. This is courageous work I'm talking about. You got to lift up that identity. You got to look it in the face. You got to wrap your own heart around yourself and your people. And you got to love yourself back into your full humanity, right? Got to love yourselves back into your full humanity. You have to say, no, I will not be the oppressor, right? So I will not be the oppressed, and I will not be the oppressor. And then what might we envision from there? Who are we? See, the oppressors are also frozen in a prison. Why do we have the opioid problem and the addiction problems we have in this country? When you go to sleep at night, and that place just before the consciousness slips into sleep, there's a place of great vulnerability. And I think that in those spaces where we're the most vulnerable, the pain that we cover over with the degrees and the decorum and all of the things that make us look so civilized, right? Those places start to seep out, the places of the deepest, darkest pain and the ways we are imprisoned in what it takes to keep those resources in certain hands, right? If we can unimprison the oppressor, if the oppressors can fully revitalize, bring them their humanity back into full aliveness, if the victim says no to victimization and brings their full humanity into aliveness, so now we got something to work with. Right? Now we can turn toward what is liberation from our aliveness, from our being anchored, from having wrapped our hearts around, and we can envision and walk together, children, into a world that we could only dream possible. We can make movies about what's possible. I have a feeling we don't even know what's possible. We haven't touched on what's possible in our full humanity. So I hope that you will sit with some of what I just said. Let's take a breath because I talk so fast. Let's just take a breath. I think that the madness, the chaos, the tragedy, the devastation, all that is happening on our beloved planet right now, I believe every bit of it is a call from love towards love. Every bit of it. So my brothers and sisters, let's not be distracted by the surface level of the nonsense. Let's keep planting ourselves toward the North Star of liberation, of who we can be beyond the ways we have been imprisoned by systems that probably didn't mean to imprison us. I don't think anybody set out with it. I don't believe that. But we're at a time where I believe we're actually getting assistance to be with ourselves, to reflect, to challenge, to envision, to cultivate these habits. I think we have assistance from the world around us, from the spirit who made us, maybe even from each other, you know, in the ways we are challenging each other. To hold, if you will, these concepts that I place in your hands and hearts. And I hope you will ruminate, reflect on, allow them in to then inform and influence the ways in which you move in the world as we build a world that's just and sustainable for all of us. Ashe, amen.
I'm gonna take that in. I'm gonna sing you a song that I wrote last month, and it's called Just Do It. And as you were talking, Retta, I'm thinking just do it, just as in justice. So as we just do it in the world, let's let justice do it through us. So much to do in this world, where do we even start? Everywhere we turn, people falling apart. If they only had a little helping hand, I know they'd be grateful. So I'm a roll up my sleeves, gonna jump right in. Tell me what you need, that's where I'll begin. Right here, right now, we'll find a way somehow, together and grateful. Come on, let's just do it. The only way out is through it. Put your complaints in a jar and bring your willing heart. Together we'll get to it. So come on, let's just do it. So easy to smile, doesn't cost you a cent. Go on and give it a try. If you like happiness, lay your worries down, pass it around, everyone will be grateful. Let's all spread some contagious generosity through the kindness of strangers. Surely we will see it doesn't take too long to sing a common song, how the world is so grateful. Come on, let's just do it. The only way out is through it. So put your doubts in a jar and bring your willing heart. Together we'll get to it. Come on, let's just do it. One by one, by one by one, we'll knock these hurdles down. When we join our hearts and hands, miracles are found. Come on, let's just do it. The only way out is through it. So put your fear in a jar and bring your willing heart. Together we'll get to it. Come on, let's just do it. So come on, let's just do it. Oh yeah, we can do it. Oh yeah, do it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that beautiful message.
Thank you, Deb, and thank you, Retta, so much. It was beautiful. And now we're gonna have an opportunity, as you said, to maybe anchor some of that, to go within and go into some quiet time, a little bit of meditation. So I was thinking about there's ideas right around, how we get into these patterns and the race consciousness as a human race, and how it's a lot of work to uncover and to dig in, but deep within us all, there's that one and that knowingness. And it was because I was thinking about the fall and how the trees just know when it's fall and their leaves change. They don't have to think about it. And the squirrels know to go stuff their faces because they know winter's coming. And there's this inner knowingness, and we have that within us. And we can let go of our minds and the chatter and these roles and ideas and just open to that inner knowingness that is that North Star. So we're going to try to deepen into a little bit this morning. So I invite you all to just get comfortable where you are, sit up straight, maybe put your feet on the floor if you can. Close your eyes or allow them to go to a soft focus. Just relax. Take a nice, deep, cleansing breath, breathing all the way in and exhaling fully. And just relax. Be here in this moment. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. Each breath, we're going to fill our lungs completely. And then hold for just a moment and feel a little bit of that tension. Then exhale fully and relax. And each breath, relax even more and go deeper into that place of knowingness. So deep breath in. Hold. Exhale fully. And relax. Deep breath in. Hold. Exhale. And relax. One more deep breath in. Hold. Exhale. And relax. Just allow your breathing to go to a nice, even pace. Allow your body to relax. Allow your mind to relax. Feel that call. Love, calling to love. That calls within each of us. That knowingness. That North Star that guides us. That spiritual imagination that abounds within each of us. That is God. As we go into the silence, I invite you to open your heart, still the mind, and hear that call of love.
Everything that happens everywhere in this manifest universe once happened for the first time. And at that point, based on the evidence, it was unprecedented. It had never happened before. So it was easy to consider it impossible. Everything that happens was once seemingly impossible. And it turns out that everything is possible. We don't necessarily know how. We don't know when. But this is an infinite universe where anything is possible. And I know that we're each free to stay inside of our comfort zone. And I also know that there's a terrifying zone where we're never going to go. And in the boundary between there is our growing zone. And that's where we get to go to invite something that hasn't happened before. We get to expand ourselves into that newness and allow what's possible to grow through us. That's exactly the process that Reverend Red is talking about in Wrap, Anchor, and Act. That infinite power that is everything, that is everyone, that is everywhere, that's within each of us, allowing us to invite this new goodness, to take that bold step into something new and different and up until now seemingly impossible and certainly scary. And to bring that love, to bring that bright light that is God's infinite goodness into that dark space and allow it to become lighter and brighter, to allow the love to flow and show. That is available to each of us right here and right now and in every moment. So I know that as we each individually and together embark upon this journey of growth and transformation, to whatever degree we participate in that, that infinite love is flowing through us. That divine goodness is revealing itself as us. And those seemingly impossible things become possible in ways that we don't necessarily understand in advance. That is the infinite invitation to the infinite as we create something new. I know there's no power that stands in the way of this. There are certainly people and oppressors and positions that would stand in opposition to it, but that's more a matter of force than a matter of power. There is no power that stands in the way of this. There's no amount of darkness that can overcome the light. So we invite the light, we invite the love, we invite the transformation. We willingly step into it to bring this newness into being. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for the good that's already unfolding. I'm grateful for the opportunity that each of us has to examine where we've been, where we'd like to be, and to what degree we are willing and able to step into that transformation and then allow the love to flow. I am grateful for all of this good as it's coming about. I'm grateful for the transformations. I'm grateful for the stories. I'm grateful for the personal insights and sharing. And I'm grateful for the healing, which is the revealing of the truth, that there is only love. And so with gratitude for this good, I speak this word of intention, and I release it to the creative law that has always said yes. Since the infinite said, let there be, that creative law has been saying yes and making it be. And so this word is now let loose to that same creative law, and it's already on its way to coming back fulfilled. It's already happening. I let it be, and so it is. I invite you to take a deep, centering breath. Allow your attention to come back to your body. Maybe wiggle your fingers and toes, shrug your shoulders, get some motion back going on. And bring your attention back into the world around you as Deb does another song for us.
Have you seen the news today? Does it matter anyway? Somewhere someone's suffering. What difference does our knowing bring if we don't feel it in our hearts? The difference caring will impart to be the love we wish to see that saves our own humanity. With our one heart, one mind, one soul, we're better together. With our one heart, one mind, one soul, we're better together. We want to feel safe in this world. So does every other boy and girl. A place to live and call your own. Should we all not have a home? I'm standing here, you're standing there, for all the same things everywhere. There's nothing you want that I don't. Let's cross the bridge so we can show. With our one heart, one mind, one soul, we're better together. With our one heart, one mind, one soul, we are better together. We're unbreakable, we're unshakable, and together we are unstoppable. We're all made of love by the one above, who creates through us forever and ever. We are one heart, one mind, one soul. We are better together. With our one heart, one mind, one soul. We are better together, together forever. We're better together. Better together. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Deb. And thank you, Breen, for the meditation. And thank you, Retta, for those inspiring and challenging words. Ruffle feathers indeed. And we've been known to ruffle some feathers around here. One of the sayings that we have is that we choose to live well above the law of averages. And that ruffles feathers. But when you think about it, the law of averages, half the population is below and half the population is above. Well, if you had a choice, which half would you be in? Choose the part that's above average. And would I be at 51%? Nah, I'd live well above average. And because it's an intentional universe, because we can choose, we do that. And that's one of the things that you reminded me of today with your challenging story. So this is the time that we get to share whatever impact this the experience, with the music and with the talk and with the meditation and the reading. If anybody has something that you'd like to share about what came up, please go ahead, Dina. You were quick.
I've been waiting.
You knew this was coming.
Ooh. Okay. So I haven't been able to stop crying. So I hope I can get through all of this. This was one of the most powerful days I've experienced. Retta, your talk was the intersectionality of spiritual and activism. And I am so grateful and uplifted by everything that you said and your challenges to us, because that's the work that we have to do and how we move it forward. When I was young, you know, I was involved in the Vietnam War and feminism and the Black Panthers, and you know, I was just a little radical child. And so that is, you know, and after a while, a long while, years of knocking my head against politics, I had to move to something different. So I moved to a spiritual life, and it felt different. It felt like a different step, but it was open at the top. And I felt like maybe I could make a change in that way. But in this world that we live in, it's so much of that politics and so much of that, you know, these hard walls that we keep feeling. And this is the first time in, I don't know, maybe ever. It was like my heart just broke open because it was both. So thank you. And I just want to shout out to everybody on this on this Zoom today to please share this. Please share this on your social media, on your Twitter, on your Instagram, whatever you have. It's like, this is important. And Deb, thank you so much. Here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Sandy.
Wow, Dina. Retta. I always love our service here. It's always beautiful. But I listened to you, and, you know, in the beginning of your talk, I, you know, just felt the excitement of the invitation that you were bringing us into and inviting me into. And then I started to quake.
Good.
And that quaking was whatever the internalized systems and structures that are inside of my body started to quake. And it didn't feel good. It hurt. And that is a gift. So you gave me a gift of inspiration, and you gave me a gift of the breaking down of what needs to be broken down. And I agree with Dina that this needs to be seen, what you shared, because coming from a pure soul like you and speaking the truth is what will wake up the world. So I'm extremely grateful.
Thank you, Sandy. Anybody else?
Thank you from Phyllis, who is here for the first time.
Well, then take some warm hands rubbing together. Thank you, Phyllis. We have a saying in New Thought, Retta, that for practitioners, we have to look a fact in the face and know something better. And, you know, one of the things that has been very much brought to my attention, and you brought it up again today, and is that the oppressors tend to look like me, and the oppressed tend to look like you. And that's not true for you and me.
Yes.
So that doesn't have to be true anywhere. That's the something better we get to invite. So I'm doing that.
Spiritual work we're doing.
Indeed. Kathy? There's Kathy.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm I don't really have anything to do right now.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's the offering.
Oh,
Like I can do that.
I don't have it. Thank you. I don't have it.
Okay. We thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We are grateful for every way that you share. We don't have a basket today, and if we were in person, it wouldn't be hygienic to pass the basket, but there is a donate button on the website. You can make a donation by credit card or PayPal. You can also mail a check to the office in Ardmore. The offering affirmation is on the screen. You can unmute your microphone and we can all say it together. I live
In an abundant universe.
I am one with
the infinite source of all good.
I am a
The
center
center of conscious prosperity.
I enjoy the
The richness of life. That's my gift.
I
Share
share
my
my
gift with gratitude and joy.
I know
Know
that
that I give, I do receive.
And so
So it is.
So it is.
So much. Deb, one more song.
Nina, I was really trying not to cry the whole service myself. I was really holding it together well until you just shared. So let's all join our hearts together on this last song and help me get through it. Put a little love in your heart and ignore my barking dog. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. Yes, the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. Yes, the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. Yes, the world is gonna be a better place for you and me. Let's wait and see. Oh, put a little love in your heart each and every day. Put a little love in your heart, 'cause love's the better way. Put a little love in your heart, 'cause now's the time to start. Put a little love in your heart, everybody. Put a little love in your heart. Thank you all so much. It was such a blessing to be with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Deb. And thanks to everybody who is here. What a wonderful celebration. Thank you so much, Reverend Retta. We have a recording of the entire celebration, which will be on YouTube as soon as we stop the live stream. And we're also going to have just Reverend Retta's talk that goes onto our Vimeo. I'm going to ask Luke and Sarah also post that by itself onto the Facebook page directly so that it's there. And if you check the New Thought Philly Facebook page or YouTube, then you'll be able to get to those. Wow. So let's wrap up. Go ahead and turn your microphones back on so that we can all make a joyful cacophony to the world. Hold the virtual hands of the people who are near you and repeat after me. I am love.
I
am
am
love.
love.
I am light.
I
am light.
I rap.
I rap.
I anchor.
I
Anchor.
I act.
I act.
My light shines.
My light shines.
The love flows.
And the
Love flows.
So it is.
So it is.
So it is.
So much. So stick around if you'd like. Get yourself a coffee or a bagel, and we'll have some time together.
You're
Okay.
wonderful, Dad. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. It was amazing service. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was an amazing service. I agree. Thank you so much. It's great to share it all with you. And Retta,
Yeah,
thank you.
right back at you. Thank you.
Reverend Retta, thank you very much.
So welcome. So welcome.
Did not know the word extraordinary. I could have discovered it, invented today.